All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to our Navigating the Future, a senior year guide to post-secondary planning success. I'm Dr. Ricky Papandrea. I'm the Director of School Counseling and Testing here in the Huntington Union Free School District. I want to welcome you all for a very informative night to help prepare your students for their senior year. I'd like to highlight a few guests that we have in the auditorium with us. We have Miss Brown, our high school principal. And we have Miss Ruth Escobar, who is our new school counselor here at Huntington High School, who's taking over for Mr. Lashin's caseload. All right, so navigating the future here. We have a pretty lengthy agenda for you today. Welcome and introductions. We have our post-secondary planning, student responsibilities, the College and Career Center and Google Classroom, Naviance, college admissions criteria and procedures, financial aid and scholarships, special considerations, and questions and answers. As I mentioned before, I'm Dr. Ricky Papandrea. I'm the Director of School Counseling and Testing here at the Huntington Union Free School District, and we have Miss Bernadette Walsh here, who is our school counselor in charge of our College and Career Center. So you're going to be working very closely with her over the course of the next year, helping prepare your students for their post-secondary plans. So the post-secondary planning process has already begun. You should have already received a letter from me regarding transcript review. And transcript review is very important to make sure that all your regents' exemptions and special appeals are highlighted on the transcript, and know your eligibility and how this may affect graduation requirements. Every student has options for post-secondary planning. We really want to make sure that every student leaves Huntington High School with a post-secondary plan. That includes either going to college, career training, military, employment, taking a gap year, or a mix of those particular plans. And success is about the journey. It's not where you go, but it's what you do when you get there. And that's what's the most important thing. There are many different paths to success in life, and we want to make sure that we are choosing the correct path for your child. Your path is your own. You want to avoid comparisons and focus on what's right for you. You want to break it into steps, organizing the process to reduce stress and build confidence. And we're here for you. Our role is to advise, guide, and support you in every step of the way. So it's important, if you have any questions whatsoever, to please reach out to us to make sure that we're able to answer those questions for you. And if for some reason we don't know the answer to those questions, we will research it and get back to you with the questions that may apply to that particular college or university or career path that you're looking at. So with the student responsibilities, number one is reviewing your student transcript, making sure that all the courses there are reflecting correctly, as well as your Regents exams. If not, it's important to let us know that the transcript is not right, because within the next month or so, we will be sending out those transcripts to colleges and universities and uploading your initial transcripts into Naviance. You want to research and plan. You want to identify schools, programs, and opportunities that match your goals and what you want to do for the rest of your life. And not necessarily what your friends want or what the niche thing is right now. You really want to choose something that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, because you're going to be doing this for the next 30 or 40 years of your life. You want to stay on track. You want to complete those applications and essays on time, so it's important to make sure you have a calendar with all those particular due dates. And athletes, you want to make sure you register with the NCAA Eligibility Center to make sure that you have that eligibility to play an NCAA sport if you so choose to when you go to college. Communication is very important, and you want to stay connected with us. You want to join the Class of 2026 Remind Group. You can use that code at HUNT2026. You want to meet with Mrs. Walsh and schedule an appointment early, because her calendar does book up pretty quick. You want to know the requirements, so you want to check with your college and see if they require any supplemental essays or supplemental application pieces that may be different than the common application. You want to make sure you're using Naviance, logging everything on Naviance. This is the best way to communicate and keep everything in one place. You're going to request your teacher recommendations and track all your applications through this platform. And you want to make sure you're tracking those dates and deadlines, keeping a calendar of important milestones. And you want to follow up. You want to update the College and Career Center with all your admissions decisions, yes, even the good news ones. We want to know all the colleges that you got accepted to, which ones you may unfortunately not have gotten into, and then ultimately what college you end up choosing to explore. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Walsh here, who's going to talk a little bit more about the College and Career Center and her role here at Huntington High School. Thank you.
everybody. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. I know that you have to be in first period by 7 o'clock, so I'm not going to keep you longer. Tonight is about procedures, how, what, when, where, everything needs to happen. And as I'm sure you can tell from Dr. Papandrea, organization is huge, right? There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of details. I am here to assist and make sure that all those details, all those deadlines, all those timeframes are met. And my office is in the College and Career Center, which is in room 120 across from the library. Students are welcome into the College and Career Center 9 periods a day. It's a pretty busy office. Many students have been coming in making appointments. We have college admissions counselors coming in. We do a lot of work with post-secondary planning. I am the go-to person for the Naviance system, which I'm sure you're familiar with. We run college fairs out of the College and Career Center, and new this year, we are going to be running a career fair in the winter. So it's a pretty busy place. We encourage students to come on in, ask questions, make their appointments. The big thing is that we need our students and families to understand that we're here to answer any and all questions to help you feel as supported as possible. The College Center is incredibly busy right now with college visits. So what that means is that we have over 75 colleges registered to come meet with our students throughout the 9 periods of the day. In the Friday flyer, which you picked up front, it looks like this green packet here, you will see a full list of the colleges. This is updated pretty often. On the Google Classroom, which I'll talk about in a minute, there's also a full list of schools. Students are encouraged to come on down, meet with admissions counselors for schools that they're absolutely planning on applying to, those schools that they want to learn more about, those schools that they've heard of and they think maybe, I want to think about applying to a school that's in Florida, whatever. We bring the students to the College Center, or College and Career Center. We bring the colleges together so that they can have these conversations. It demonstrates interest and helps students figure out, is this a school I want to pursue? In order to register for those visits, students are going to come down to my office. I have a big binder with all the registration forms. Students sign up, they take a pass, they check into class. As long as the teacher says, sure, no problem, you can come on down, you can make up your work later on, then great, we're happy to host them. If a student would like to come down, but they've got to test that period, they can let me know. I'll save some information for them. So this is just a great, easy opportunity for students to start the dialogue, continue the dialogue, demonstrate their interest. Whoops. Okay. The College and Career Center does maintain a Google Classroom, similar to all the teachers here at the high school. This is a hub of resources for students. Any paperwork that they might be able to pick up in the College and Career Center, they'll find on the Google Classroom. Different forms available. Dr. Papandrea spoke about the transcripts being posted recently. We've got a transcript approval form on the Google Classroom. Lots of information, career information, college information, information about service academies and military options, scholarship information, anything planned that's geared towards post-secondary planning, you will find posted in the Google Classroom. Students will access the Google Classroom through their Clever accounts, and what you can see right up here is the class code. All students received an invitation at the end of August. I'm happy to report that most students have joined the classroom, but if they have not, they can easily log into their classroom account and they'll see that invitation waiting for them. So we encourage all students to log in and use this as a resource. Naviance. Naviance is incredibly important. You have worked with Naviance for many, many years at this point, and what's really critical to know right now is that Naviance is used to share information with colleges. What I mean by that is transcripts and letters of recommendation are sent from Huntington High School to the colleges through Naviance. So Naviance is really like the glue in this process. Students will access Naviance through their Clever accounts. Teachers will send letters of recommendation through their Naviance accounts to the colleges. Parents and guardians, you have your own Naviance accounts as well. You have an access code. If you haven't set up your Naviance account just yet, if you're not sure of your access code, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to your school counselor, and we're happy to provide you with that. Through Naviance, yes, you can research colleges, you can research careers, you can research scholarships and military options, but as a senior, we just want to remember, this is the glue that ties the application components together. Students will be able to keep track of the submittal of transcripts. Students will be able to keep track of the submittal of letters of recommendation. So what it does is, it takes out some of the guesswork. You'll know when things were sent out, when items were delivered, when colleges downloaded those materials. So it really keeps you in the know. So college admissions criteria. We've got 2-year schools, we've got 4-year schools. We have some overlapping pieces of criteria. The 4-year schools, as expected, do require a bit more. We've got college essays, we've got letters of recommendation, we've got a resume. 2-year schools, we're looking at standardized test scores, possibly for placement, and then, of course, a high school transcript. College admissions criteria varies. You might find a school that has multiple essay requirements. You might find schools that will not accept letters of recommendation. So every school can be a little bit different on a student's list. If a student's applying to 8 schools, you might see various deadlines, 8 different deadlines. You might see one school that has 2 supplemental essays and another college that has 0. So it's very, very important to make sure that you understand the application process, the deadlines, the fees, the requirements for every school you're considering applying to. One of those pieces that we really want to pay close attention to are going to be the application options, i.e. the deadlines. So we've probably heard of these terms before: regular decision, early action, early decision round 1 and 2, single choice early action, and rolling admission. So when colleges receive applications, they're making decisions based on these deadlines that they put forth. Colleges that have regular decision deadlines are typically accepting applications with a deadline of January 1st or January 15th. Student has up until that date to apply. They will hear back from that school typically around March 15th or so. Non-binding, you apply, you get in, great. You have until May 1st to decide if you'd like to attend. Early action is a non-binding early application. Student applies anywhere between usually about October 15th and November 15th. They're demonstrating their interest early. They're saying, hey, College XYZ, I like you a lot. I want you to know about me before everybody else is applying. And that student will then receive an admissions decision, usually in late December, early January, depending on the application volume. If a student is admitted, wonderful, great news, celebrate. You have until May 1st to decide if this is a school you'd like to attend. Early decision, this is the binding contract. So when you're applying through an early decision program, whether it's an early decision round 1, with a deadline in November, or early decision round 2 with a deadline in January, you are signing a binding contract. If you get in, you are signing away that you are going to withdraw any other active applications. So this is not for the faint of heart. This is for somebody who really knows in their gut, in their heart, every which way that college XYZ is right for them. You can only apply to one school through an early decision program. Single choice early action. You might not even see this. This is very few and far between. It's a non-binding early program, but there are restrictions about how many, if any, early applications a student can submit simultaneously. So just to kind of recap, as you're researching your colleges, it's critical to know when you have to have everything set and ready to go, because everything means typically an essay, recommendation letters, resume, standardized tests if they're required, and a high school transcript. So students who are applying early with October 15th deadlines, November 1st deadlines, November 15th deadlines, they're hustling right now. They're coming into my office, we're sitting down, we're making some decisions, we're talking about the process to make sure that no one is missing any deadline, okay? Rolling admission means there is no deadline. The earlier you apply, the better. This is the early bird gets the worm sort of situation. Student submits an application. The application is complete within a few weeks or so. The student receives a decision, and on an ongoing basis, the college reads these applications and churns out admissions decisions. So the earlier you apply to a rolling admission program, the earlier you will hear back. Colleges will have overlapping programs. So you will often find a school that has an early deadline and a regular deadline. You may not see early action, early decision, regular decision at every single school, but a combination of those plans. So you have to decide what's right for you. Where does your interest lie? Is this a school that you really, really love? Apply early. Maybe not early decision because that's binding, but at least early action if you can, okay? So how does the process begin? Well, you've begun it already. You're here. You've already had these conversations at home. You've already done the hard work. You're considering your planning. We need to put this into place. I meet with students. We sit down individually. We discuss individually those steps that the student needs to take in order to submit their applications on time with all the required components. So students are invited to come down to my office, schedule appointments. There is an appointment request form that the students can access right through the Google Classroom. I'll meet with the student. Parents, guardians, you're of course welcome to attend. And we will meet as many times as is necessary for the student and family to feel comfortable with the upcoming process. I ask students to complete what we call the Appraising Myself as I Plan for the Future packet. Many students have already done this. This helps me get to know students and families better so I can provide resources to those students and families that are very specific to what you are looking for. There are several college application forms, which we'll talk about in a minute. Those are actually put in a packet for you right here. And again, staying organized, details, spreadsheets, whatever it is that helps you feel comfortable and settled and eases the anxiety, please do it. We don't want you stressed out about this. So, kind of went over this a little bit. Pieces that are included with the college application: transcript, essay, recommendation letters from teachers, from myself. Sometimes a college will ask for a mid-year report. That's a first semester report card. Sometimes a college will ask for an optional report, and that would be a first quarter report card or typically a third quarter report card. An early decision agreement. The final report, we are asked to send over a final transcript indicating the student has graduated to whatever school they're planning on attending in September. We've got the written components, personal essays, at times supplements also, and then an activity list. So there's a lot of communication involved in this process. There's me, there's the teachers, there's Mrs. Catalano, who's the secretary in the College and Career Center. We all work together to make sure that all of these documents are sent over to the colleges by those deadlines. The transcripts, I can't stress the importance of this enough. You need to make sure that you're looking at your transcript and verifying its accuracy. Before a transcript is sent out to any schools, to the NCAA, to a service academy, wherever it happens to go, we need to make sure that it is 100% accurate. So the students will be required to submit what we call a transcript approval form. We see here also letters of recommendation from the teachers, from the counselor, some other types of forms. But I do want to point out something else here. Under transcripts, it says STARS. That's a self-reported transcript system. There are some colleges, not a ton, but some colleges that require students to self-report their transcript. It is a tedious process. It requires the student to sit down and plug in their courses, their grades over the past couple of years of high school, including 8th grade high school courses, into a system that allows the admissions counselors to more efficiently and effectively process transcripts. The schools that require students to do this are most often the very large public universities that are receiving thousands and thousands of applications. So a self-reported transcript system allows the colleges to process transcripts efficiently, effectively, and in a very timely manner. So, knowing your application requirements is critical. If this is a component to your college application, you must supply this transcript system. You must supply your transcript onto this transcript system by the actual deadline. Some of the schools that will use this self-reported academic system are, just off the top of my head, University of Delaware, UMass Amherst, Penn State, Clemson, University of South Carolina. It's only about 35 or so, but our students are applying to some of these colleges, so it really is important for you to know this. Okay. Students apply to colleges online. There are no paper applications like there were when we were younger. Everything's online. The two most common platforms are the coalition application and the common application, which I'm sure you've heard of. The coalition application is used by only about 150 schools or so. I put it up here just so you're aware of it. You might see it on some of the college websites of this being an option to apply, but 9 times out of 10, a school that uses the coalition application will also use the common application. And this is a very user-friendly application. You can start this at any point. Students, if you're not sure what schools you're applying to, you can still start this because over 1,000 colleges participate, so it is very, very likely that you'll use this to apply to some, if not all, schools on your list. The schools that participate in the common application will vary greatly. So we'll have some very selective schools, some lesser selective schools. We'll have some big universities and some smaller liberal arts schools. We'll have schools with varying application deadlines and varying application fees, some that have supplements, some that don't. But the idea here is that the colleges that participate in the common application want to make this process easier for the students and families, so you don't have to log on to 8 different college websites to apply to 8 schools, okay? Naviance and the common application actually work together. So as I said before, Naviance is like the glue that holds together all the pieces of the college application. Naviance and common application filter information back and forth. So when a student is filling out their common application, they're asked to supply a lot of information about themselves, where they live, where they go to school, their college essay, the activities that they're involved in. They're also going to be asked to supply information to the college that's specific to the major that they want to pursue. Do they want to live on campus? Do they want to live home? There's a section, you're going to see it right here on the board, that says recommenders and FERPA, and the colleges are asking students to waive their right to read their letters of recommendation. This is a real integrity issue, so colleges want to make sure students haven't said to their teachers, hey, can you leave this out? Can you put this in? Can we white that part out? They want to make sure that the recommendations that they're receiving are truthful and honest and give admissions counters a good, authentic look at the students' academic abilities, how they progress through their classes. So in terms of procedures, I want to point something out to you. In this packet, if you flip to the 3rd page, you're going to see an application checklist. It's going to reference this screen right here that says recommenders and FERPA. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. In order to get your Naviance account and your common application account talking to each other, you have to sign this waiver. So following these directions will allow you to do that. This is a process that only has to happen one time. And what happens is once you sign this waiver, your application will be matched with Naviance, and all the schools you're applying to will show up on the Naviance side. And that's really important because if a teacher can't see the schools that a student's applying to, and I can't see the schools students applying to, we can't get information out. So you got to follow the checklist. This tells you exactly what you need to do to make sure that every school you're applying to is listed on your Naviance account, so we then in turn can send documents to those schools. There are colleges that don't use the common application. There may be some students that are applying to schools that have institutional applications. No matter what type of application the student's using, high school documents are sent through Naviance. So this checklist will speak about, or I have it written down here, how to add schools that aren't common application colleges to your Naviance account. Okay? I know that, and again, I know this is a lot of procedural things, and I also want to just remind you, I make appointments with students and families all the time. So if you have questions, we will absolutely follow up. Letters of recommendation. So the large majority of colleges will request 2 letters of recommendation from teachers. They will request a 3rd letter of recommendation from a counselor. In this process, I am considered the counselor. I know that students have their own counselors. They also have me now. That doesn't mean you don't have Ms. Spillane. That doesn't mean you don't have Ms. Bernoni and so on and so forth. You do. But what I do is the specialized piece right here. So in writing a letter of recommendation for students, that's coming from me, and this appraising myself packet that has information from students, from parents, That helps me get to know students better and write a more comprehensive letter. I speak with students' counselors, I speak with their teachers. My job is to present students in a very holistic way. The teacher letters of recommendation are written specific to the academic discipline. So at the end of junior year, I'd ask students to speak with 2 teachers and ask them if they'd be willing to write letters of recommendation. This year, students are following up with those teachers, and then they're making a request through Naviance. In the packet, if you flip to the 4th page, you will see the recommendation request procedures. This is an outline of exactly what you need to do to request letters of recommendation electronically. In a nutshell, the teacher gets a link, they upload the letter, they send it out for the student. Very easy. The letters do not come to me, the letters do not go to the student, the letters go directly from the teacher to the college. There are times where a student may request a letter of recommendation from someone outside of Huntington High School, and that's okay. We have some students that are involved in tech programs, students who are involved in internship programs, no problem. I can take care of those letters of recommendation. So for someone who's not a teacher, a faculty member here at Huntington, doesn't mean they can't have that person as a recommender. That letter of recommendation needs to come to me. I can send it with mine. So if a student's in that situation, they're not sure how to handle that, please just have them come see me and we'll work through it, okay? So the earlier a student requests a letter of recommendation, the better. Teachers are inundated with requests, so I'm telling the students now, follow up, make that request electronically ASAP, because you don't want to be at a disadvantage when we're up against the deadline and the teacher didn't know you needed a letter, so we want to ask as soon as possible. Plenty of time. This is just a screenshot of how to request a letter of recommendation through Naviance, exactly where you need to go, and again, that's outlined right here on the tip sheet. And so we'll move into standardized tests now. So we know standardized tests as SATs, ACTs, AP scores. There are going to be some colleges that require scores, some schools that will not. It depends on the colleges that a student's applying to, so we really want to make sure that we understand the admissions policies, the admissions procedures. So in kind of going through this process right here, test optional schools allow students to decide, do I want to share my scores with a college? Test blind means that it doesn't matter if you took the SATs or ACTs, we're not looking at them anyway. So no advantage in sending scores over, the colleges will not look at them. Test flexible, that means the student has a choice. They could send SAT scores, they could send ACT scores, they could send AP scores. So flexible just means whatever works best for you. It is up to the student to research this, to understand the admissions policies, to understand the admissions procedures. So with policies, we want to know, is this school test optional? Are they test flexible? Are they test blind? I've taken the SATs or the ACTs, here's my scores, where do they fit within the range that the college is looking for? That's going to give me an indication of whether or not I feel comfortable sending those scores to the college. There are some schools that require SAT scores. A lot of the schools in Florida, they require SAT or ACT scores. There's several Ivy League schools that require SAT or ACT scores. So you really want to know those policies. In terms of procedure, how to release those test scores to the colleges is very important. Many colleges allow students to self-report scores on the Common Application. So if you looked at the Common Application before, you'll see there's lots of different sections, one of them being testing. When a student self-reports their test scores, they're plugging in, here's my highest evidence-based reading and writing score, here's my highest math score, here's the test dates. This is unofficial score reporting. The large majority of schools will accept unofficial test score reporting as acceptable in the application process, meaning you probably won't have to go onto the College Board website to release those scores to the colleges. But that is a college by college policy. You have to double check on that, okay? All right, let's talk about SUNY. So we've got 64 campuses within SUNY. The large majority of the SUNY schools accept the common application, so that means a student has a choice. I can either apply through the SUNY website or I can apply through the common application. Honestly, whatever's easier for the student, that's up to you. If a student's applying to multiple colleges, some SUNY and some not SUNY, using the common application, I think makes sense so that you're working on just one application system. If a student's applying to only SUNY schools, you have the choice. You can just keep everything on the SUNY application if you like, so that's up to you. Within the 64 campuses, there's different requirements, different deadlines, different procedures. There's different types of programs. There's combined bachelor's, master's programs. There's accelerated doctorate programs. We've got 2-year programs, a lot of opportunities, a lot of options. And what's pretty exciting is that we've got free application week coming up. So between October 20th and November 3rd, students can apply to 5 SUNY campuses for free. This is a potential savings of $250. I would absolutely take advantage of this if I was you. You can apply through the common application or through the SUNY application. And something else that's pretty exciting is that right now, through November 3rd, both Alfred State and SUNY Albany are having free applications. So take advantage of any free applications you see. If you're working on SUNY applications right now, whether it's on the SUNY website or the Common App, if I was you, I'd wait until October 20th to submit those applications. You know, we don't get too many things for free, you know, in New York, so let's just try and take advantage of this one. CUNY, our other public system in the States, City University of New York. These are the campuses in Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, and Staten Island. 2-year programs, 4-year programs. Some of the campuses have housing, some do not. So just like SUNY, there's a lot of variety here as well. The application for CUNY is on the CUNY website. And we do have students who apply to CUNY schools. A lot of our students who are interested in criminal justice will apply to John Jay. We have students who want to go into education. They'll pursue Queens College. So a lot of great, great programs within CUNY. But you cannot apply to CUNY schools on the common application. This is all on the CUNY website. CUNY is also hosting free applications, and so you can apply throughout the fall. You can see right here, where is it? November 10th through November 21st to several CUNY campuses as well, and this is a nice savings for you too. So take advantage of those. Now, the records release form. So this is how everything is put together. This records release form is going to be required 1 per college. So if a student's applying to 8 schools, they're going to fill out 8 of these forms. Students can come down to my office to pick up these forms. You can make copies at home, whatever's easier for you. This form can be obtained on the Google Classroom as well. This form is essentially a permission slip. It gives me your permission to send transcripts and my letter of recommendation out to the colleges. I need to know where the student's applying. I need to know the application deadline. I'm going to be tracking the student's major. And this form needs to come back to me in the College and Career Center 15 school days before an application deadline. So if you flip it over, you're going to see the suggested deadlines right here. So if a student has a November 1st deadline, I need to know about it by October 10th. I don't need the student to apply to that school by October 10th. I just need to know about it. If there's a Naviance issue that you're encountering, if there's a common application issue, if a teacher is having an issue logging into their side of Naviance or what have you, I want to make sure we have 15 school days to rectify this. This doesn't mean that student transcripts sit in my office for 15 days. These are generally sent out very, very quickly. But if there's an issue, I need to make sure we can address it. There are 372 seniors, and if 372 seniors apply to 10 schools a pop, that's a lot of paperwork. So staying organized is critical, and I have to ensure that my office is doing the same. So getting these back early is a huge help to us, a huge help to you, again, a huge help to the teachers, so we can troubleshoot if there are any kind of issues. Now, financial aid. And I know I'm rolling through this, but again, I want to make sure that you guys get to first period. So financial aid. The financial aid forms, FAFSA, TAP, CSS profile, these are going to be available October 1st. So there's nothing you can really do right now except a little bit of research and understanding how the process works. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. This is the form that students and families fill out to apply for financial aid, whether they're attending colleges in New York, California, Hawaii, anywhere in the United States. The TAP program is New York's tuition assistance program. So this is for students who are planning on attending a college in New York. The CSS profile is used by typically the very selective private colleges and universities to award institutional aid. So we've got different funding sources here. We've got federal funding, we've got state funding, we have institutional funding. Some students will fill out all three. Some students will fill out one. Some students will fill out two. So it depends on the schools you're applying to which forms will be required, okay? You might only be filling out the FAFSA if you're planning on applying to public schools outside of New York. Typically, the public schools do not require the CSS profile. If you're applying to a very selective private school within New York, you're going to actually be filling out all three of these. So staying organized, creating those spreadsheets, understanding which forms need to be filled out is very, very important. We're going to be hosting Financial Aid Night virtually on November 12th, where we're going to have an advisor from Sally Mae speak all about the process. He's fantastic. He's done several of our presentations, step by step, line by line. What is FAFSA all about? What is the CSS profile all about? He's really terrific, so I would encourage you to mark your calendars for that, and we'll send out another notification. Scholarships. So we want to look for as much money as we possibly can, right? Little trick here. The earlier you apply to your schools, typically you're in a better position for scholarship awards. So the earlier, the better. Institutional scholarships sometimes require additional applications, and sometimes they don't. That's the tricky part about this whole process, is one college is going to do something one way, another college is going to do something another way. So it's really important that as you're doing your research, that you're looking into the financial aid and scholarship opportunities that are available at the schools. And so when you log into a college website, you can just type in scholarships up in the top right-hand corner, and you'll see all the institutional scholarships that are available. You'll see the procedures. Is there an application required for the student to apply for that particular scholarship or not? It might be an automatic review, but you want to know that ahead of time. There are scholarships for all sorts of different organizations and companies, different private organizations and so on. We actually have a quarterly scholarship newsletter. Ms. Bonilla is our scholarship coordinator. So she posts the newsletter on our Google Classroom, also on the Google site, also on the district website. So there's lots of ways for students to gather information about scholarships. But this is one of those things where you got to be in it to win it. So you're filling out college applications, you're filling out scholarship applications. It's going to be a lot, but we want to make sure that you stay as organized as possible. And know that through Naviance, students can also research scholarships. I'm sure most of you probably know I have a senior right now also, so I get you, I know exactly what you're dealing with. We logged into Naviance last night, and you can see what pops up right in the National Scholarship Search are no essay scholarships. I said, come on, let's sit down and do this right now. You don't have to worry about filling out an essay. So sometimes there's random drawings. I had a student a couple of years ago who won a scholarship from Burger King simply because the student held a part-time job. So there are scholarships for all different sorts of reasons. Community service scholarships, scholarships for students who play instruments, who are involved in religious organizations, you name it, it's all out there. But you gotta research, you gotta find them. Special considerations. So when you're applying to college, you wanna find the right fit. Every which way, personally, academically, financially. There are some students that are going for some unique types of majors, right? Where maybe a writing portfolio is required, maybe a film portfolio is required, maybe they have auditions. We have student athletes, we have students who learn in different ways. Colleges are there to support students of all different backgrounds. Finding the right fit, that's what we aim to do. So with special considerations, these are the kinds of things that we want to sit down and we want to talk about, because we want to make sure that out of the 4,000 colleges in the US alone, you're selecting the right 10 to 12 to apply to for yourselves. So we can definitely talk about some of these special considerations one-on-one. Now, just so you know, I'm going to be pushing into all of the English classes starting next week. So I'm taking this presentation on the road. All the students will hear this, so if parents, if you're here without your kids, no worries, they're going to get this also. Kids, if you are here, that's great. I'm so happy. You're going to hear it again. Sometimes we need to hear this multiple times to really let it sit. So starting next week, I'm going into all the ELA classes. I am also going to be setting up shop in the library for some drop-in hours. So you don't need an appointment for this, but if a student has free during these different periods, they can come on down. We can work on the common application. I can review essays with students. I can go through procedures about making sure that you're requesting your recommendations correctly, that you're going onto the right websites. This doesn't mean that we can't set up appointments. We absolutely can. But, you know, students are busy. They've got a lot of classes going on. We have some students who have morning tech, and in the afternoon, their schedule is saturated with classes. A lot's happening. So we do have these office hours. Students can always come into the College and Career Center and ask questions as well. I am accessible through Remind. I know students, they don't have their phones during the day. We understand that. They can message me afterwards. That's fine, no worries. You can call and ask questions. You can send emails and ask questions. And again, students, if you want to just pop in to ask some questions, you can do that too, okay? There are not too many high schools that have a College and Career Center. This is what I do. So please ask the questions that you have. I've been at it a long time. So I've worked with students who have gone to all ends of the earth, students who've gone to 2-year schools, 4-year schools, taken gap year programs, combined accelerated bachelor's, master's programs, you name it, military, service academies. Just ask, okay? So we're there to support, we're there to guide, we're there to make sure that your questions get answered. This was the condensed version. Again, I want to make sure that you get to first period because, of course, your classes are super, super important. That's why you're here too. So I'm going to wrap it up right now, but I do want to open this up if anybody has a question that they feel comfortable asking in the group. Yeah.
Do you happen to have like a spreadsheet template that, we can use to sort of keep track of everything?
Yes, I do actually. In the Google Classroom and in my office, I have a hard copy of an Excel spreadsheet that you could use where you can kind of make different columns on it, and you can adjust it whatever way you want, but campus, size, location, deadlines, et cetera, you could use that template. Another really cool template that, I shouldn't say template, but I found when you're working on the Common Application and you start listing schools in the My Colleges section, you can export those colleges into a spreadsheet on the Common Application, and it will line item for you application deadlines, application requirements, application fees. What you have to do, though, is you have to add schools to your Common Application. So once you've done that, it'll produce a spreadsheet for you, and then you can adjust that if you like. That's a new feature. That was pretty good. Yes?
In Naviance, you said something about uploading a resume. So does Naviance, can you input a lot of stuff into that? Is there a way to easily pull it out in the form of a resume?
No. There is not, unfortunately. Yes, there is a resume writer in Naviance, which is terrific. The prompts are awesome. It allows you just to kind of fill in the blanks, but it's not able to be transferred over into the Common Application, unfortunately. I do have a template in my office, though, of a sample resume if anybody would like to have one. And I'm here tonight through 9 o'clock, so if you just want to swing by during lunch periods or study halls, I'm around. Yes? Yes. When a student makes a request in Naviance for letters of recommendation, you will see the status as requested. When a teacher submits a letter of recommendation, the status will change to submitted. So all you have to do is go into the letters of recommendation section of Naviance, and you'll see those requests right there. As long as they've been made, you'll see it right there. Now, you won't see the letters. You will just see that the request has been made. The forms that the students may have passed out, the gold and green forms that help me write my letter of recommendation, the students can just check with me. I'll let you know if I have them. I know I spoke so fast. Hope you got it all. Yes? Sure. So every college by law is required to have posted on their website a net price calculator. So the net price calculator is going to be on typically the financial aid or scholarship section of the college website. It will ask you to plug in personal information, household size, family income, things like that, and it'll generate for you the expected price tag. Oh, and yes, sure. On the college websites, they will also break it down: tuition, enrollment, fees, housing, et cetera, et cetera. Always check with the horse, right? I mean, it's great. Naviance is wonderful, but this information is coming from those colleges, and it's up to those colleges to update it. So I would go directly to the college websites for the most accurate information.
My son was using the Common App to primarily input everything. Is that going to automatically go back to Naviance, or should he be really focusing on Naviance and then going to Common?
Either way works, as long as he's following the procedures on this page right here, college application checklist. He'll see exactly how to get that information going back and forth. As long as all the schools that the student's applying to are listed on the Naviance account, then the transcript and recommendation letters can be sent out to those schools. So whether they start in Naviance first or Common Application first, either way works, they'll eventually be matched, as long as the student follows the process here of signing that FERPA waiver. It's pretty simple, just steps 1, 2, and 3. No. If a student's applying through the Common Application, they could put their schools there, match with Naviance, and they're transferred over automatically. When a student's applying to a school that's not on the Common Application, they do have to add that school manually to their Naviance account. But that's all laid out right here for you. Okay? Because the student's not limited to just applying with the Common Application. Not every school uses that. So we want to make sure that we're sending out the documents to every school a student's applying to, but it's all happening through Naviance. Student can get it to me. I can send it with my letter of recommendation. There is not. There is not. God, yeah. The colleges on the Common Application need to go on to Naviance. The colleges in Naviance may be a combination of Common Application schools and an institutional application if a student's applying to a school that doesn't use the Common Application. And there's a lot of different scenarios here. So if the scenario that fits your family, your students, if you have questions about it, just come ask me. We'll figure it out. All right, so you have 5 minutes until first period. Thanks so much for coming. I appreciate it. Hope this made things a little bit easier for you. Also, this is going to be posted onto the district's YouTube channel. Okay, so friends, whoever didn't come tonight, just let them know to check tomorrow or Monday.